Bearded Biomed.
Welcome. You are watching and probably listening to the first ever Bearded Biomed video podcast live on YouTube right now. And what better way to kick off the very first episode than to bring on a friend, colleague, along with a now partner, Sean. Welcome to the show. Everybody, you're going to get really acquainted with Sean really quick. We're going to talk about just all manners of things that we have coming down the pipeline. And, just if you know my show, we don't do script. We don't do, plan presentations. We don't do anything that's structured. It's go with the flow. Let's just have a conversation. And that's what we're here to do today. So, Sean, welcome. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and let everybody know about you.
Awesome, Chase. Thanks, brother. So, yeah, my name is Sean Callahan. In the medical industry, medical equipment industry primarily. So, started off with hospital direct medical and merged that company in with another company, iMedical. That was a few years ago. So, more recently, I'm probably recognized for working with iMedical as the sales and marketing person there at the company, which is a fabulous ride. Great company, great people, a lot of exciting stuff going on there. But Chase, we've talked about it, and I love the industry. I know you're coming from the biomed side of things. We see and talk to a lot of people in the industry. There's a lot of people that I've talked to for years on the phone that I've really never met in person, and it's kind of a close knit industry. I mean, we kind of know a lot of the other companies. We obviously know a lot of the big players and a lot of the people that are running things behind the scenes. But I kind of felt, and I know you feel the same way, that we should just starting to get to know these people a little bit more, have some fun. Be able to share what life is like in the industry for both us on the medical equipment side and for you on the side that's fixing and repairing equipment. And so, first of all, I'm super excited to be with you because, you've got a great track record, obviously very experienced, but also, you've already got an established trademark and everything that you're doing with already sort of being into the podcast. So when this project, I basically, iMedical, I'll give you the story. They said, hey, we really need this first off, let me just say we need another .NET, and I know Phil is from .NET, and I've pretty kind of told him about what we're doing and invited him to participate because the medical industry is small. I come from the real estate industry, not as an agent, but as a marketing person. And in the real estate industry, if I had a listing, I could post on 10 websites, which is what we're working with Healthcare Direct USA. Um, but but in the medical industry, there's really not a lot of places. Still has .NET, which is a phenomenal platform. I advertise on there, I get great results. But I think that it's like we kind of need another place we can put some listings on, but also a place where we can interface and have a little bit more direct interaction with other people in the healthcare field.
Right.
So this is basically a way of getting another platform to put some stuff on listings, events, things like that. But also for exactly what we're doing right now is getting to meet people in the industry, have some fun, and promote upcoming events and really get to know more people behind the scenes that are in the industry. So thank you very much for joining me on this project. I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited right now for finally getting some video stuff launched and getting this thing off the ground.
Well, I know when you first reached out to me, I could definitely sense the passion that, I would hope that by now people see that I'm as authentically passionate about my field as possible. I mean, what nut in his right mind decides to invest all his own money, into taking on a venture to elevate the field into something it's never been before? I I remember going through the ranks, going through the training, the 68 Alpha Biomed School at Shepherd Air Force Base a long time ago. And unfortunately, it's been a lot longer than I'd care to admit. And all I could think about is while I was going through and, learning everything I could, running missions, couple deployments here and there, and I got out, got into the civilian world. Um, we don't have the same kind of swagger that other, professions do. Like one of the biggest things that annoyed me was that so many people, even in my own family, and this, I'm sure many biomeds can attest to this as well. They don't really understand, you know, the medical field outside of what nurses and doctors bring to the table.
Hmm.
And, it's kind of interesting because you, Amy's coined the phrases uh, we are medical device doctors. We have to most of the time go into a facility, have no clue whatsoever what's going on, and automatically try to decipher and solve, whatever might be wrong with any kind of medical device you can imagine. Patient monitoring, hospital beds, radiology, anesthesia, ultrasound, sterilization. The the breadth and scope that we have to be, readily available for and knowledgeable about is sometimes, over our heads, but that's what's so fantastic about this field is you don't have to know everything, but one way or another, you're damn sure going to find out, whether through a
Hmm.
technical manual, technical support, asking a fellow colleague, uh, and then you get to meet so many different people too. Like I've
Hmm.
fostered so many relationships with nurse practitioners, doctors, clinicians, physical therapy associates. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I agree when you approached me to tie all this back, when you approached me about, the vision of what Healthcare Direct USA could be, why should the medical device industry have to share all the space with every other industry out there? Why can't we have our own platform? Why can't we share and collaborate and really enjoy and foster, more and more partnerships and understanding and build a community together? Um,
Hmm.
and I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to build a space that people can sit down, maybe share something interesting that happened, whether, something that happened with a patient or, a particular, you know, weird or obscure circumstance, which we all have. I mean, I'm in all kinds of medical facilities, day in, day out. I'm still a full-time field service technician, more in the management side now, but I'm still out there every day. And I'm in surgery centers, I'm in ERs, I'm in physical therapy, I'm in mental hospitals. I mean, I have stories, and as does everybody else. So let's not, just continue to sit and be okay with the norm. Let's expand. Let's, share our stories with the world and let them know some of the interesting things we're doing. And obviously,
Exactly.
yeah,
So with us, because we do a lot of the service and repair, and we do some of that, I'm not I'm not seeing and getting those experiences. So I'm always looking, and Rihanna Thurman, right? Also on, we do a lot of stuff through LinkedIn, but I follow her and I follow you very close, and I'm always amazed at exactly what you said, at some of the stories, some of the things you run across, and the diversity of equipment that you basically have to, work on and fix and repair on a regular basis. So even as someone in the industry, but not really, in that field or that vertical, I'm one of those people where I'm like, God, I'd love to hear and learn more and just get a feel for what that's got to be like, because honestly, you get a lot of stuff that's very time sensitive, and it's just such a diversity of different things you can do within that field.
interesting you bring up Rihanna because she is actually going to be coming on the show in the very near future.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
for people that have been listening, when I started season two, the very first episode was the Bearded Roundtable. It was a collaboration episode where I brought on three gentlemen to discuss everything within the field. Now, since I am an equal opportunist and I champion any female biomed doing their thing, managing, leading, we are going to have the second Bearded Roundtable, but all females, and I will take
Nice.
more of a backseat to that because I want to give them their, their due time in the light. These,
Hmm.
along with Rihanna, there are two other females that are going to be on this podcast that have done incredible things, and I'm looking forward to bringing that to you guys in the very near future. But
Super excited. I've seen some of the stuff you did. I wasn't. I think it was MD Expo down in Atlanta, but there was some biomed gals, the ladies that were out
yes,
of Miami.
yeah. So that was the first time I got to meet those gals. That was Andrea and Gabriella. They are
Yes.
the owners and facilitators of A&G Biomedical. Check them out. They're based out of Florida, and they have absolutely nothing but positive things all their customers have to say. They're, it's interesting. They just hit their 3 year mark, and they're taking the Florida scene by storm. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table. Um, I'm excited
They're
for them.
very good. Yeah, they're very good marketing people. So they're getting a presence, they're getting a reputation out there in the industry, and it's like you were saying, that's exactly what the industry needs more of. And I respect them as being professional biomeds, but I also respect them as being entrepreneurs and business people and taking on a venture like that, saying we're going to do it, and then going out and really doing it and doing a good job with that. So I'm excited to hear that you're going to have more on them and feature them in upcoming episodes of your Biomed.
Oh yeah, I'm sure eventually we'll run into each other. MD Expos, Amy. I do plan on doing more. Getting the shows, um, probably next year in 2023. But there are a couple episodes out there for y'all that want to listen. Just the podcast is available, just so you know, on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, Pandora, pretty much anywhere you can listen to me. I am on there. But now you can see me in person talking to good fellows like Sean here while I drink this wonderful adult beverage.
And
um,
I'm in our external workspace here, and I don't have the bearded Biomed. We were talking before the show. I got to get the studio set up. But then, of course, we still have, it's almost 4th of July, so we have a lot of, employees, family, people just kind of coming through the facility today. So I do have a very colorful background of people walking by that,
right.
also creates sort of a good thing here. But this is a good way. We're actually here kicking off this July weekend. Today's Friday before 4th of July weekend. So I'm glad you're getting a good start on that. I am not far behind you. Next podcast, I'll be right there with you. My adult
Sounds
beverage.
good, man. Like I said, scotch isn't always my go-to, but this was celebratory to me, so I had to bust out the scotch. Um,
Dude, I like the way you're setting the bar.
you got to go big or go home. As the sign
That's it.
behind me, hopefully, if you're watching, you haven't missed it. It's kind of hard. But anywho, let's talk about what are some of the services. Well, I wouldn't really call them services, but that you think healthcare direct can bring to the market that are drastically needed besides the social media interaction.
Right. So yeah, I'd say one of it is just having another place to post listings. My background is internet marketing. I've done that for almost 25 years. I came out of the real estate industry, which is highly competitive. We're in the medical equipment industry now. I don't see that as really being all that competitive. But I just think that having another place we can post stuff, and like I said, this is not any way to take anything away from .NET. I love .NET. I love Bill, Bohm. I love all those guys. But I think in the industry as a marketing guy, if I could just get a little more exposure and find a few other places I can put into things, that's number one. Number two, um, I'd really, we talked about this, but really have a place to schedule events and things going on within the industry. So for every individual state, the Biomed Association posting their stuff. I know you spoke with MD Publishing, but they do a great job with a lot of different events. I want to make sure that we're trying to do everything we can to get as many people to those events because now, as we start to network, get to know each other more, and we start creating more friends and more relationships through these calls, through these interviews, and letting people get to know some of the people behind the scenes. So it's not just here's my profile picture and here's a paragraph of my background. That's not really giving me a lot of information on your personality. Obviously we go to these events and we do a lot of different things because it is business, and we definitely want to, uh, promote our business and promote our companies. But ultimately, we want to have some fun and enjoy the industry, enjoy what we do, and say, hey, yeah, I'm going to this next upcoming event. I've got to sit at a booth for 2 days or 3 days, whatever it is. But I'm going to get to see some of my friends. I'm going to be able to see
Right.
Chase, and I'm going to jump on a podcast for an hour, and we'll have some fun in addition to all the stuff that we're going to do that's business related. So I think that's a lot to do with it. And the thing that I talked to you about, the thing we've also discussed, is that healthcare direct is what I call open source. So whatever the ideas are that we talked about, whatever the things are that we want to do, I'm still open to doing just about anything that people come up with. So, the more interaction, the more facing that we have within ourselves in the industry, there's really no limit to where this whole thing can go. And the whole thing is get to meet other people, learn about their experiences, and really get to network more within our own community, within the medical healthcare community, biomed community, medical equipment, hospitals. I mean, we've talked about a whole lot of other things, but I'm excited because I just think like the response that you've got, the response that I've got, it's been overwhelming. We kind of have Healthcare Direct up and running right now, but we're still kind of waiting for that social media platform to be finished, which we'll be unveiling real soon. But I think overall that's kind of a good game plan for getting the thing going and having some fun, and starting to get people on the show, interviewing people and promoting what they do, promoting, I know you've got some product stuff that's going to be coming out soon that you're going to do some presentations on, that's going to be introducing new stuff to the industry. So I think this is a perfect platform to do that with.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a business component to everything, whether you want to agree to it or not. The business is always going to be in some facet of any kind of, especially in the medical industry. I mean, the medical device industry itself, I think, is last year was valued over like $500 billion, and it's only going to continue to grow. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I like that we're going to have a central hub where everything can congregate. Like I said, MD Publishing is already going to be a part of helping us, bridge that gap, putting out information. Um, as a biomed, there are multiple issues that we are constantly dealing with every year. And I hope to make this website an aspect of, providing tools, information, and obviously community that we can all kind of, rely on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that has listened to the show would know that I have some issues with some things and how they're being done. Um, but that's okay. We will eventually navigate around those or find some kind of solution for them one way or another. That's what biomeds are. We're solution architects. We're the duct tape that binds the medical backbone, um,
Mm-hmm.
for more or less. And I would highly encourage anybody to keep a keen eye on when everything does launch, because I'm going to have a direct hand in making sure that we have information such as technical literature, items such as maybe, giving MedWrench another platform to where you can go on there and get more questions answered.
Mm-hmm.
I foresee, maybe even a map that people can click on and, possibly have HTM jobs assist them with finding, their next employment opportunity.
Mhm.
Um, I'm going to be partnering with CBET, the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology, to obviously, if you're interested in getting into the biomed field, I would highly encourage you to reach out to them, look into the AMD apprenticeship program. There's so many different ways that we can elevate the field. And I'm going to do that from the alternative media aspect, which I have so um, nonchalantly kind of jumped into. But I would encourage people to stay tuned because besides the podcast, the video podcast, or I guess we can call it the Bearded Biomed show on YouTube, um, we have Justin, Better Biomed, doing his thing. And, stay tuned as well because I know people have been saying, why don't you and Justin do something together? Well, we are, along with Jake from I met as well. And we are going to be doing a biomed talk show as well on top of that. So another, sneak preview, another, nugget for y'all to chew on in the near future. Um, of course, Healthcare Direct USA, we're going to be doing a lot of collaboration with interviewing people relevant within the industry, maybe product reviews or, just try to give you as much information that you could possibly want. I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. Information is king. So I'm
That's right.
definitely looking forward to it. And I'm excited for when everything does get up and running. I'm excited for today right now. I may not seem it, but I'm pretty giddy, launching the show. Y'all don't know how much time, energy, money, blood, sweat, and tears have gone into just, you know, putting all of this together. Um, it's kind of surprising because I always thought I would stay in the audio space, but too many people just kept coming up to me and asking me to do a video.
Mhm.
And I mean, why not? Let's get more people interested and uh, give them something to look at. So I literally have my Batman, bat signal, but with a microphone and a beard behind me now. So hopefully it will light the way.
Yeah, exactly. So Chase, I followed you for a long time, and we kind of came up with this idea. Like you said, we've been this video that we're doing right now has been basically months of collaboration. I
Yeah.
mean, it really has been quite a bit of stuff that we've been working on and talking about and scripting out and sharing ideas and building it. But I do have to tie this back because one of the funniest posts that I've ever seen post, I watched quite a few of them, is the one where you were in a hospital and you were fixing a hospital bed. And I don't know, I mean, we sell beds. I mean, I know beds pretty well, and everybody else in the industry does too. But any bed that you're going to mess with is 5 to 700 pounds, and it's a solid steel frame bed. And you were repairing a bed that literally the frame of that thing had been crushed. Your question was, how did this possibly happen? I'm going, dude, I have no idea because even if I pitch that thing off the back dock of one of our warehouses, I don't even know if I can do that much damage.
Yeah, I've
Do
been
you remember that post?
yeah, yes I do. I was actually like I want to say my second TikTok video and
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's so much good content on TikTok that just kind of makes you go, wow, or how is that possible? And I thought, we have nothing on there showing the ridiculous stuff that biomeds have to repair. And there's going to be so much more of that coming because obviously I'm in the field every day. But the hospital beds, it's funny, all the years I've been in the field, every year kind of has a centralized theme. This year has been the hospital bed. I have fixed so many beds this year. It's like they all decided, and this is multiple facilities within Dallas Fort Worth. Uh, it just for some reason they all have collaborated to fight up against me, and You know, you raise a good point. These beds are steel. And the only way I can think of this getting smashed as a possibility is, a lot of the time, let's say you have a patient code or, in a serious note, like you got to transport a patient. A lot of the transport techs and sometimes the nurses that are doing this themselves, they love, or I wouldn't say love, they tend to use these beds as bumper cars.
Right.
And if you go into any hospital setting, you'll see most of the walls have some kind of, let's say, hip high rubber kind of line going
Hmm.
across the walls. It's
Yep.
specifically for that reason because these beds and carts and everything just get beat to hell, rammed into everything. I mean, we've had I had the story on the podcast. We've had crash carts get pushed to the point to where it flings a defibrillator across the hospital hallway and smashes it into pieces. And then we get the call and are expected to play Legos and put it back together.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's funny that that video is what spawned all of this today. But
So it's funny. So going into that, so we get equipment. Obviously, we do a lot of used equipment. We get equipment from hospitals all over the country, and I can tell you within 30 seconds what the environment in that place is based on what that equipment looks like when it comes out. Now we've closed down hospitals. We've got a lot of equipment out of hospitals, and one that comes to mind is what we did last year out of Kentucky. All the equipment in there looked brand new. I mean, we're talking stretchers like the old Stryker transport stretchers that, like the
mhm,
1001s, 721s, all that old stuff. They still look brand new. They still look brand new. And then you can go into a hospital and you can come out with, Prime Series or TriStar, and they are, like you're just saying, the bumpers, right? That go along the sides, they're just beat, they're beat. And not only are they just beat, but the circular brake that sits right above that wheel, all the rubbers just they've just been hammered up and down hallways. There's been
Check for pulse.
nobody's been really all that concerned about, hey, no, it's like, so I can tell a lot about a hospital based on how that equipment comes out of there, and we see it all on this side. Obviously, you're in the field of equipment, so but I can tell you a lot about how that place is running based on the quality of the equipment when it comes out, the condition it
right.
comes out in.
What's interesting too, something, I mean, they've been around for a long time, but something that has really spawned significance importance, especially during the COVID period, and also with supply chain issues and everything in between with associated with all that, is equipment resuppliers. If
Mhm.
you think about it, it's, I mean, we're dealing with this now. It's so hard to get certain parts to fix things that it
Mhm.
almost becomes economically feasible when compared to the lead time. And some of
Mhm.
this is critical equipment that
Yeah.
you know especially with beds too.
Mhm.
You're having to rely on equipment resupply sellers or just contact one of those companies that could sell something off right just because the equipment gets damaged to the point that it's not worth fixing it. And
Right.
I hate to say it, but COVID has really hurt the medical infrastructure.
Mhm.
We've had so many CAH, critical access hospitals, that have closed over the past couple years that is directly, caused by COVID. And
Right. I
you,
mean, yeah, and I see a lot of it right now too because the lead times for getting equipment is way past what a lot of healthcare providers and doctors and healthcare industry people really understand. And so, like as an example, exam tables, ENT chairs, power chairs, surgical tables. I'm not going to get into the manufacturing names, but the big ones are some of them are 4, 5, 6 months out. And so what's happening is that it's pushing people into the used, recertified, refurbished market, and even the refurbished market is fine. So for right now, we're starting to see some stuff coming out now with a lot of the Rumi and a lot of that stuff starting to come in. But there is still a major shortage right now on LED lights and a lot of different surgical equipment. It's not like it was pre-COVID where good stuff was popping out constantly. You always had, you know, baby. You always had all the really high-end stuff. You always had 8 or 10 sets of lights, multiple
Yeah.
manufacturers.
Well,
You're
you look too, the
absolutely right.
manufacturers,
So,
they're having to like cut costs in probably non-favorable ways. Like one of the
yeah.
Discord forums I'm in, you saw a typical cord that's still available right now, but they've replaced high-end materials like metals and coppers and
Mm-hmm,
those with plastics because they
mm-hmm,
can't source the materials in order to maintain that, but they still want to get their financial benefit out of
exactly.
it. And
Yep.
what does that end up leading to? That ends up leading to more than likely that equipment getting damaged, the biomed being
Mm-hmm,
called out, more money being cost to the end user.
mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping, at least through this show, which by the way, there's going to be many segments. This is a good segue into the segments for the
That's right.
show. There's going to be a lot of segments that, you know, I want to try to keep this interesting. One of them is going to be bad OEM practices. And I know how much certain manufacturers love to sue people for libel and everything. So anything I bring to the table here, I'm going to have proof that this is being done. And there's
Yep.
some silly stuff being done out there that maybe you as a patient or maybe actually in a healthcare facility aren't aware of that's really, inhibiting patient care, patient safety. So
Mm-hmm.
stay tuned for that. A couple other segments is gonna hit my soundboard here and let y'all know to be excited for this. Live from the Bearded Studios, trending topics, news. Stay classy, biomeds. Now, I am also a huge movie guy and I love comedies. One of my favorite comedies, is Anchorman. Stay
Oh, love that
classy, San
show,
Diego. I
dude. I love
I
that.
love
Yeah.
Anchorman, so I had to give
Yeah.
an ode to that. Um, another segment we're gonna do is acronyminal soup. So acronyminal soup. It's my nephew or cousin. This segment, when we bring on guests, we're gonna throw some acronyms at them and have them guess. One of the other segments I wanted to do is, we get some very interesting service calls as biomeds. Um, one of them came in. I remember I had first started with my company, and one of them came in through our dispatch system, and it said we need our dynamite serviced. Come to find out that luckily it was not dynamite; it was a Dynamap blood pressure monitor. I don't know if that was user error or if it was maybe spell check, what have you. But the technician that went out there was very fortunate they did not have to PM dynamite. Uh, I've had other service calls where it's just, you never know what you're going to find. And hence, it's usually hospital beds for the most part this year. But I would
Mm-hmm.
encourage anybody that is watching the show that has some interesting stories or repairs, as well as tips and tricks in dealing with those repairs or maybe navigating, manufacture bad practices, any of that information that you guys want to send to the show to obviously, I'll get you a little shout out. Maybe just tell me where you're from. And, let's share that information with our biomed community. So just
Absolutely.
just in case you want to know where to
So,
send that.
hey,
Oh,
that's right. That's right. We'll plug that all. You've got Bearded Biomed, so we definitely want to promote that. What is your email address?
so the email that anyone could send that to would be beardedbiomed@gmail.com. Now, if for some reason you
Perfect.
forget the email, I just so happen to also have Bearded Biomed Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you could also find me on LinkedIn. So I've made it pretty simple for any of y'all watching to get me that information if you so would
You
like to.
cannot miss the bearded biomed. Let's just be honest, people. You can't miss that. You're going to find it one way or the other. So, so Chase, to pick up on that, today I published a video, an interview with John Phillips. So John's the CEO of our company, and I think you've talked with John a few times. Um, Real colorful history. Started off in the Navy, got his Biomed certification, got through the course, worked his way up, and somehow found himself as like the lead biomed at a pretty big hospital down in Virginia Beach that had 30 ORs. So he basically scrubbed in every morning and worked in the ORs as stuff was going on. And he had some crazy stories. I mean, really crazy stories. One of the ones, I mean, I got two or three of them out of them, and they're on our YouTube channel now. But one of them, they're doing open heart surgery, and the anesthesia goes out. And something like that. And like, first of all, let me just preface this and say that all the stories had good endings. Nothing ended up happening that that
I
was
would
putting that.
love to next time you come on, Sean. I would love to have John on here as well. So
We got to get John on here.
yeah,
He's a lot of fun.
I think between all the stories that he has, I just think the amount of information he could divulge that could be a benefit to somebody out there too. And then
Exactly.
I would love to take him through the ringer of some of these games I got planned out.
Oh, dude, okay? You got to play the soundtrack for I Want Your Autograph.
So there is going to be a fan mail segment. Now, don't take this the wrong way. This is going to be also if maybe you have a criticism of the show or maybe a suggestion. You got to remember, I was in the army, so I'm a little bit thick skinned. You're not going to hurt my feelings, but hopefully it's all good and positive things. But have you, here will be the segment for that show. Oh my God, can I have your autograph? And just so you know, that is
Dude,
me
one more
speaking.
time. One more time.
Oh my God, can I have your autograph? That's yours truly, by the way. It's embracing my feminine side.
Dude, I love that voiceover stuff. I mean, you might have a career field come up in voiceover that you never thought about that launched from the Bearded Biomed podcast.
The wife doesn't like my voices as much, but that's okay.
Well, all I can say is it takes a lot of courage to come out there and let everybody know that you were actually the one that had done that. But it is good. I would have never picked up on that had you not said so.
I mean, I have no kind of ego about myself. You kind of, I would say most people that are willing to get into the space either have a massive ego or they just kind of don't care and will just do it. I'm kind of the latter. I don't really, I would hope most people know I'm pretty humble in real life, even so. I just want to enjoy the field and share it with people and talk about it. So why not have fun with it?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's why this whole thing is just such a great idea and so much fun because I think this is a great intro actually because so many people are kind of getting a feel for the direction that that you want to go that we've talked about. And I mean, I can only imagine the kind of stories that we're going to start getting. And it's just such a wealth of knowledge too. In addition to all the different stories, there's just a lot of knowledge and a lot of things that we'll also be able to share that that'll help people out in the field and even help people within the industry just knowing things that are going on and trends and things that you're seeing and things that are going on within the industry for the biomed career field.
I mean, I love this field. It's all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I forever see myself doing. I mean, obviously these are extracurriculars, but it's still tied to the field. Like I always tell everybody, biomed's the one thing I can talk all day, every day with anybody, and I have no stage fright or anything about. Um, it's been a learning experience nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want when I see what I want for the biomed field. Obviously, I want acknowledgement of that we exist. I want people to, put us up there along with nurses and doctors as a sought after career field.
Hmm.
Because this field is just as rewarding, if not more sometimes. And, to do that is going to take everybody working together to obviously promote the field, and I will do my part in that. But,
Hmm.
when I was a kid, some of my favorite shows growing up were all doctor nurse related. Like, I remember sitting down watching Nick at Night and watching MASH. I loved MASH.
Hmm. Hmm.
House, um, Good Doctor. I mean, there's so many shows out there that
Do you
really,
remember? Do you remember Emergency 51?
yes. Uh, I mean, the one that would really that I've talked about before that I think would just I don't know if it would work today, but is Scrubs. Like
Hmm.
you think about some just there's comedy in it. It's quirkiness, but at the end of the day, there's a positive and serious message.
Hmm.
And I hope someday, whether I'm a part of it or not, that we have a biomed TV show out there. Like
Hmm.
something that the next generation can grow up with and like, that's a really cool job. I want to do that. And if we can elevate this field, hopefully I'll play a pillar part in that to get people interested, to be able to go through avenues like that through TV and film. Like
Right.
that'd be incredible. Like
So, Chief, let me ask you, brother. What is the biomed field like right now? Is it short on people? Is it like where does it fit? I mean, obviously, it's like
oh,
you said, it's probably
absolutely.
not really promoted that a lot of people know about, but it's super exciting to hear what you're doing, work with some of these colleges to really start educating young people about this as a career
Yeah,
path. But
it's
right
it's got to
now,
have a
if you're
grassroots
looking for
approach.
biomeds
Yeah.
and you're going to hire, what is the market like? Is there a shortage of biomeds, or where does that sit
So
at?
COVID with some closures of hospital systems and some other companies, some biomeds across the US did get laid off.
Hmm.
There is a pool of biomeds right now that are trained, have been doing this for a while that can't find a position. On
Hmm.
top of that, you know, I've talked about this almost at nauseum on my podcast, and I'm still going to continue to because it's important. We have an aging field. We have roughly about 9 to 10,000 biomeds in the US currently. More than half, I'd say 70% of them are probably 50 years or older.
Hmm.
So within the next 20 years, we're going to have a massive walkout of just, people going into their retirement years, and they've earned it, and rightly so. But we don't have the
Hmm.
incoming bodies, the incoming interest coming into the field to supply that need.
Hmm.
And the frustrating part of it for me is that this has been a conversation since I even joined the field. When I
Hmm.
speak to my seniors that have been in the field 15, 20, 30 years, it's the same story. And
Hmm.
we're not doing something different to where we're getting people to notice the field. Hence why this show started. This show started
And get
for
excited
that
about it.
need. And at the end of the day, we want new people getting interested. Obviously, Amy has created the apprenticeship program, and I've actually
Hmm.
spoken to some people that have gone through that program, and they were really appreciative of it. I've came across a dad at the MD Expo, and he told me him and his son got interested in the field from listening to the podcast, and
That's awesome.
that was one of the greatest things I could have ever heard in my life. Like that,
Yeah,
that for me, it's probably top five best moments of my life to say that I
that's
inspired a
awesome.
couple people to join the field. Um,
Hmm.
but
And
even
that's
more,
just the start. I mean, now that you're really getting a focus on that, and now that you're really starting to put that together and really put that as a top priority, I know you're going to have a huge impact on thousands of people, young and whatever, that can start looking at this and really think this would really be a great career choice. And we want to be like the Bearded Biomed, and like you said, we've got a lot of really talented both men and women in the field, but having those Rihanna Thurmans and having those ladies down in Miami, really helps bring in that youthful generation of people, and both men and women. So that's super exciting, and it's nice to know that Bearded Biomed is committed to that as part of one of the fundamental goals. And certainly, with Healthcare Direct USA, just having these platforms to get that message out is exciting.
What's one of the first things we said to each other when we had our first conversation was, if you build it, they will come.
That's right.
And we got to go to where the younger generation is. The younger
Hmm.
generation isn't going through, email mailouts. They're not taking in just PowerPoint presentations. They're not opening, maybe mail to say, hey, which I don't even think we do that. Um,
So Chase, are we going to coordinate some TikTok dance videos?
I'm not so much a dancer. I could do a little, salsa, bachata. That's about it. Maybe a country two step. That's pretty much the brunt what I got. But the younger generation, like you said, they're on TikTok. They're on, everybody watches YouTube. YouTube had
Hmm.
well, it's always been big, but it had a massive gain over COVID, just because everybody was tuning in to get information, share information. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, even so. And hopefully, after we build our medical ecosystem, it will be Healthcare Direct USA. But the days of using the same old tactics and same old uh, infrastructure to reach out to the younger generation to facilitate our need to get people into the field and even know about it is not going to be facilitated through LinkedIn and Facebook and whatever else. I mean, most time people are communicating their thoughts on Twitter and TikTok nowadays.
Right.
So
Yeah. No,
that's
that's good
that's
stuff.
where it's going to be at.
That's where the future is, and it's exciting too because, like I said, we can bring a lot of these people on and really give some background and really share what it's like to be a biomed. And we all know what the title is, and we all know what the basic job description is, so to speak. But that's a vast job title, and the amount of equipment and all those different things. But when you can really bring them behind the scenes, and that's actually one of the things that John talked about. John said, if you really got an idea of what it was like to scrub in and sit next to me on a daily basis, you would know that it's just, there's just such wide variety of things that you can deal with. But I think that your idea of, like you said, I think almost like a reality TV show where you're going behind the scenes with biomeds, really getting to know what that career path is like, and
Yeah,
getting to know
exactly.
how exciting it can be.
It doesn't even have to be like a scripted, like, show like
No,
for entertainment. It could be a reality show.
that's
I
right.
mean, Discovery Channel has done so many of them for every kind of industry you can think of.
Yep.
Why not the biomed industry? So, by the way, if
I'm
you're
with you.
watching this and you know who we need to talk to, let me know in the comments.
That's right. You can find Bearded Biomed anywhere, so you just basically
Yeah,
type it into Google, and whatever comes up first, you can reach Chase.
I can die a happy man tomorrow knowing that there's a biomed show. Like, to me, that's like end all be all. Like, that would be something revolutionary for the field. Just to,
Dude, I don't care what they do on that show as long as they got your sound effect.
I think you're too obsessed with that sound effect.
Actually, well, you've got three of them that are really good.
Well, one of my favorite ones is actually, I have stickers that I've given out at all the expos and conferences and stuff. Is, we'll get a service call in from a nurse or a doctor or whatever, saying, my equipment won't turn on, the battery's dead or something. Can you come look at it? And then the first question we ask,
Um, did you plug it in?
and we ask that question, and they either in person stare at us like we just asked them the most insulting question in the world, and then we walk up to that piece of equipment and come to find out it's not plugged in. So
How
something,
many times? What would the percentage of that be where that's actually ballpark? Just yes.
well, if you're getting into the realm of like user error service calls, I'd say probably 30 to 40% sometimes. And it depends on the modality, the customer, there's a lot of different circumstances. But
Mhm.
a lot of people that utilize the equipment, they don't understand the intricacies of some of this equipment, which
Mhm.
involves the biomed to provide an in-service demonstration or knowledge sharing of how to use the equipment properly or what the equipment might need in order to work properly. As technology has ever evolved, which a lot of these hospitals have really outdated, antiquated pieces of equipment, but most equipment nowadays can run on battery. However,
Mhm.
there's particular types of equipment that have to be plugged in to work, even if they have batteries. And it's sometimes interesting trying to navigate that and explain that to people and, not trying to hurt any feelings. Because at the end of the day, the biomed's here to make sure that those nurses and doctors do the amazing work they do. There's
Right.
nothing, we don't mean any kind of disrespect. We don't have any kind of mean bone in our body, when it comes to this kind of stuff. The people that are biomeds today that are doing the work, they're doing it because they care. So
Right.
when we ask, did you plug it in? It's seriously simply because we deal with this all the time and you'd be
Right.
surprised.
Yeah.
But it's also funny too. So
It is funny. And it's funny when they can say, "Hey, I forgot. I can't believe that just happened," and just let it go and not even make anything out of it because it's just you're dealing with so much stuff on a daily basis. Obviously, I'm not a healthcare professional in the hospital, but there's 50 different things going on that we're trying to keep track of, and that's just such a simple thing that could be missed very easily. But to say, what, that's not me. Hey, my bad. We're good, and thanks for coming by, and just moving forward and not really making anything out of it.
right. Well, man, I ran out of my scotch, and I know you're a very busy man, so I figured we should
Dude,
probably let the listeners enjoy, let the watchers enjoy, and we're definitely going to have you back on the show next time for sure.
definitely. So, Chase, as we wrap up here, let's just do a call out to everybody that's watching the introductory video. So, I'm going to do a call out for people in the industry, and then you can do a call out for maybe some people in your industry. But let's start medical industry. I would like to hear from Avanti. Avanti being probably the monster company in our industry that they're really at the forefront. And I love Avanti. Avanti, first off, let me just say I love Avanti. I know Matt, a lot of guys over there. I talk to a lot of them. We don't always have a lot of like we do on a call like this, but there's a lot of people with Avanti that I'm sort of networking with, and that company obviously is the creme de la creme. But
Yeah. Shout
um,
out to Dustin
I would like to
Zimmerman
get
over at the arts
what's that?
program over there. Shout out to Dustin for the arts program at Avante. Does
There we go.
incredible things.
Yeah. And I'm just rattling off names. Albert over at Medical Equipment Doctor, Brad over at Tector. Let's talk with Trista over at Gumbo. Let's talk to
Oh,
Ramadan
Trish too. I'm
Trista.
I'm very familiar with Gumbo Medical. So, and I've
So
talked.
that's a great story. I was talking to Trista the other day. She started her company out of Louisiana, and now they've been in Vegas forever. But her dad Ken owned Traco Medical, and they've had a long reputation for doing great stuff. So, hey Ken, if you're out there, we'd love to get you on the show. And Avante, anybody over there, get in contact with us. Amico up there in Canada, you guys do a great job. Vijay, Superion, hey, all you guys are out there. Jeffrey Dalton over there at any of those people, we love to get you on the show, talk about your company, talk about stuff that's coming up, things that you're specializing in. One of the playlists that we've got, Jake, is What's in the Warehouse. warehouse. Okay, that's like one of my favorite ones in the warehouse.
I like it.
So, the way it works in our industry is medical, you're only as good as what you have available most of the time, and you're always trying to keep a lot of stuff in stock. But, semi truck could roll up to and we've got a whole bunch of this or a whole bunch of that, and that inventory fluctuates a lot. So sometimes that inventory is coming in so fast, you don't even really have a chance to get it all inventory pictured, put up and running. And so one of the things that I've done, and I actually did this with Matt over at Avante one time. He grabbed his iPhone and just started running through the warehouse. He goes, "Well, here's what we've got today," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of run through because when you know the equipment and you know the industry, you don't even have really. You can easily look at the equipment and go, okay, they've got some 222s or 622s, or you know exactly what it is." And so that's one of the segments where I think it's great because for us in the industry that need to source equipment, we source equipment from a lot of other companies like us in the industry, and we all sort of have to work together. And the more that happens, the easier it makes all of our lives and our jobs
Amen.
in the warehouse. So these are some things that I would love to have interaction with, even talk to the folks, the people behind the company, learn the stories of how these companies started, because I know or colorful. I know direct. I started shooting videos back in I want to say 2010, 2011, and I look at those videos now. I think to myself, how in God's name did our company make it? I mean, I'm sitting in a tiny little warehouse with FPS 3000 beds, a couple Akisan Sequoia 512,
Yeah.
and somehow we were making rent and making payroll, and then it evolved into a multi-million-dollar company. But the stories of how it all started, even with, how we got into the industry with all of us. But that's something that, I'd like to throw out there. So for anybody, you can come on here environment, you can also reach anything related to that you might talk about or get featured on with this Healthcare Direct US at Gmail. And then Chase, what about you? Is there anybody out there you want to say, hey, contact me, we'd love to get you on the show, any industries or OEMs, or what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always going to be pro biomed, but in complete transparency, I will also say that a lot of the field technicians or technical support from a lot of our major manufacturers are just as critical, if not more critical, to the biomed infrastructure. You guys are keeping a lot of third party ISOs, in-house biomed teams up and floating, able to allow them to continue to do the work that they're doing day in and day out. So I'm I will of course invite any manufacturer team that wants to come on and discuss you know something as critical as right to repair and seeing how we can navigate that, because I've made my position very clear on right to repair. But I would love to have a debate, maybe a discussion with any of those manufacturer teams. um, of course, I'm always going to love Danielle's, and the Amy team to come on and talk about what they're doing, maybe relevant news that they want to discuss. I love the whole Amy team. Of course, we're going to be working alongside Jamie and John Krieg and Megan
Mm-hmm.
and Kelsey, all your team over there. I love MD Publishing. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me. Um, Relink Medical. I've really enjoyed meeting you guys finally at the Amy conference. There's so many companies out there that are doing wonderful things that
Mm-hmm.
I'm the amount of people that I want to bring on the show is probably, it'll span for the rest of the year. But,
Mm-hmm.
I do eventually plan on having, Justin Better Biomed. We'll have Mayor Biomed Girl. We're going to be doing the Biomed Talk Show with me, Justin, and Jake coming to a YouTube channel near you. There's just so much in the woodworks that I'm excited to bring to the channel. But like I said, anybody that's interested in coming on, and even if you want to discuss a particular topic or have anything you're particularly passionate about that we can inform the general public about, I mean, why not? So, like I said, reach out to Healthcare Direct USA at Gmail, Bearded Biomed at Gmail, and let's get our voices heard. Let's share our experiences and knowledge, and build something fun here.
Yeah, and just one last point, Chase. Um, Healthcare Direct USA, basically that is a platform where you can list medical equipment listings. And I've launched a lot of projects on internet, but it's basically free right now. I mean, it's going to be free for a while. I mean, maybe there'll be a time where we do charge for that, but right now, for at least the next, I'll say for at least the next 4 to 6 months, I just want everybody to post their listings up there for free. I'm going to work on doing internet marketing to really help get exposure. We've got a lot of other stuff that we're working on, but if anybody's out there looking for another platform to post listings on, just email me. We've got a team from India that'll basically do things and get those set up. But, the goal right now is just to get a lot of content on there, so it's not anything that's going to cost you, maybe 6 months down the road when there's really some value, but I can show that there's actual value. Then become sort of a paid subscription business model. But as of right now, anybody that's interested in getting their listings and getting some additional exposure, obviously you can do it on our platform with Chase here, and we can do interviews and promote the company. But email me, healthcare.usa at Gmail, and I'll set that up and get you set up with a free account, get your listings on there, and try to help provide some additional exposure for moving and selling equipment.
If anything, maybe this will get you excited. One man, one beard. Bringing you all the content. But
Yeah,
Sean, I appreciate you being on today. Great way to kick off the Bearded Biomed show on YouTube.
Dude, I'm excited.
If you're, like I said, if you're already subscribed to listening to the podcast through audio format, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow. Maybe you can catch an episode every now and then if you don't feel like listening and want to actually put eyes on something. I know I'm not much to look at, but at the very least, there's a fancy sign behind me. So I appreciate all of my listeners, all my supporters, and hopefully very soon, my subscribers on YouTube. And I look forward to moving forward. But yeah, I appreciate everybody watching. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and may the beard be with you.
May the beard be with you. Hey, thank you so much, man. I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Bye.